So you can come closer. So, I mean, why don't you just, you can also go and then just leave the camera here, and you put it on the internet, and then, the whole world will celebrate the later experience.
They do that, no?
Yeah.
There are temples like the devotees at home, they give Bhagavatam lectures in front of the camera, and it is relayed live, so it's live, but the devotee is...
There's one Bhagavatam.
You have, like in the English comedies, they add the feedback, the laughter of the public and this and that. But there's nobody there.
It's just a machine.
It's additionally.
Praghosh Prabhu, I think he has given some lectures like that. Praghosh Prabhu.
Just alone.
Soho.
Just alone is a little bit fun. But at least those devotees, few who are not here from the temple, they have a little bit legitimate excuse. Indra is really a huge pile of pots in the kitchen.
Right.
So he's hearing to the mic.
Okay.
And Gonika is sick.
Yeah.
He could eventually come and go in there and push. But and my Russia was working. So it comes together like this.
He's here. He had a little incident. He had a little business to take care of. You'll hear about that later. Something happened.
Oh yeah, awesome. That is drama.
More drama.
Huh?
More drama.
More drama. Yeah. Anyway, I'm quite interested to hear about it.
So.
You want?
Should we chat?
That's okay.
Yeah, we chant.
So yeah. Okay. Emails? Yeah, amen. So we agreed that I would read a little something, and then Vanida will speak afterwards. Something, yeah. And I thought, since we are, very intimate crowd tonight.
Is this on the mic?
Yeah. I would like to read a chapter, actually the last chapter of this book, Advaita Prakash, which was written by Ishana Das, who was, for many, many years, he was a servant of Sri Advaita Acharya, lived with him. Advaita Acharya said that you're like my son. So he was living, close with him for many, many years. And he witnessed all the pastimes of Advaita Acharya, and even up until his disappearance. And then after the disappearance of Advaita Acharya, then he wrote this book, Advaita Prakash, which is very, it's just like Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's just Chaitanya Leela, Advaita Leela. But there are many, of course, many Leelas which you have not heard before. So I thought that I'd read the last chapter. I could also read the first chapter. It's all about Advaita Acharya's appearance, even before his appearance, how Mahavishnu agrees to incarnate and so on, and how he takes birth as the son of Kuvera Pandit and Labha Devi. And there's many pastimes over the years, pastimes with Madhavendra Puri, how he comes to Shantipur, and pastimes with Haridas Thakur. There's a whole chapter simply on Haridas Thakur in this book also. And then Lord Chaitanya's appearance, and many pastimes with Lord Chaitanya, and about the sons of Advaita Acharya, Achyuta, and Krishna Mishra, and Gopal, and then 3 other sons also. And then here we have here there's a chapter about how the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya, and then this is chapter 22, which is the last chapter describing Advaita Acharya after Lord Chaitanya disappeared. And actually this chapter includes the disappearance of Nityananda and the disappearance of Advaita Acharya. I don't know if you've heard that before, if you haven't read this book. Okay. And so here it is, chapter 22 of Advaita Prakash. All glories to Sri Chaitanya, all glories to Sitanath, as of course Lord Advaita Acharya, all glories to Nityananda along with all the devotees. After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disappearance, the two Prabhus were overwhelmed and cried in separation. That's Advaita and Nityananda. The various moods that I saw them manifest are completely beyond my ability to describe. The states they continued displayed were similar to those exhibited by the Raja Gopis in Krishna's absence. Sometimes they fasted, sometimes they ate a little, and sometimes they drank only water for a few days. Due to feelings of separation, the bodies became fatigued. Sometimes they loudly called out, "O Gauranga!" They considered one day to be like 100 millenniums. One's heart melted on seeing their condition. Their only enjoyment was chanting and remembering the name of Gauranga, and in this way 8 years passed. One day in Shantipur, as Advaita Acharya was remembering Gauranga's qualities, he became impatient in ecstatic love. At that time a message came from Nityananda Prabhu in Kadadaha, requesting Advaita to visit him. On receiving the message, Sri Advaita quickly prepared himself to go meet Nityananda. On the auspicious meeting of Nityananda and Advaita, they embraced each other in great ecstasy. On seeing each other, they became immersed in loving affection, and they loudly cried out the name of Lord Gauranga. After some time, the two regained their external senses, and they went and sat together in a solitary place. No one knows what they discussed together for 7 days and nights. On the 8th day, in the association of the devotees, Sri Advaita chanted the qualities of Gauranga with great ecstasy. As Nityananda danced in the middle, he lost all external consciousness while meditating with love on Gauranga's lotus feet. The Mahants, the great devotees, also forgot everything external out of love, and while they were in that state, Nityananda mood disappeared. When the Mahants came to their external consciousness and did not see Nityananda, they began searching for him. The all-knowing incarnation of the Supreme Lord, Sri Advaita Prabhu, could understand that Nityananda had disappeared from the world. He started lamenting like a madman. "Alas, please tell me why you have done such a crazy thing. I am morose and almost dead due to intense feelings of separation from Gaura Chandra. Still, I remained alive because I was able to look at your face. But now that you have left, where can I go?" Advaita Prabhu lamented in such a way that I am unable to describe. When the devotees came to know about Nityananda's disappearance, they wept bitterly and asked, "Where is Nityananda?" Virabhadra Prabhu cried and rolled in the dust. Virabhadra is a son of Nityananda Prabhu. So Virabhadra Prabhu cried and rolled in the dust, while Advaita Chandra tried to console everyone. He made arrangements for a great festival and sent invitation letters to all the devotees. In due course of time, all the Mahants came, and Karadaha again became full of joy. After bathing on the day of the festival, everyone assembled together and began Sankirtan. 14 Madangas and hundreds of kartals were played in 7 groups of devotees. One devotee danced in each of the groups, while Kuveranandana and Advaita danced in all the groups. I'm unable to describe the ecstatic kirtan that I saw there, in fear of increasing the size of this book. When the Sankirtan finished, all the Vaishnavas relished discussing the pastimes of Lord Gauranga. Meanwhile, Virabhadra cleaned one place and carefully arranged seating for 3 persons. They then made up 3 plates for offering and set them there. Then Virabhadra said to Advaita Prabhu, I would like to place one request before you. Oh, Goswami, please fulfill the desire of this boy. Just as Mahaprabhu and the 2 Prabhus previously sat and ate together, please take your meals together in the same way here in my house. Let my worthless eyes become perfect by seeing this. All the Mahants enthusiastically endorsed his request, and my Prabhu thus went to offer Bhoga, first to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. On Gauranga's right, he offered Bhoga to Nityananda, and then Advaita Prabhu sat on Gauranga's left. Seeing this, all the devotees chanted the name of Hari. Vira Chandra Prabhu offered the Bhoga Artik while gazing on the lotus feet of the Lords. The Mahants all experienced a fresh attraction as they performed kirtan during Gaurachandra's Bhoga Artik. How wonderful was that blissful scene! I am unfortunate being unable to fully describe it. In that assembly, Virabhadra raised his hands and said, Dear Vaishnavas, please listen to me. Anyone who arranges a feast should offer Bhoga like this to the 3 lords. Then carefully take that Mahaprasad and offer it to the saintly persons, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Feeding these 3 lords is as good as a great sacrifice or perfect execution of yoga. Sri Chaitanya, Nityananda and Sri Advaita are all one and simultaneously different. One who considers these 3 different will never attain the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya. And without Lord Gauranga's mercy, one will never attain pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one's rare human birth will be wasted. Any festival in which these 3 lords are not offered Bhoga is no better than Daksha's sacrifice. The benefit of food distribution will not be obtained, and everything will be spoiled. In the next life he will reside in hell as long as the sun and moon continue to shine. Hearing these words from Virachandra, all the Vaishnavas present said, So be it. When Advaita Prabhu finished his meal, he got up, washed his mouth and chewed some betel nut. Virachandra Prabhu then happily distributed the Mahaprasad. The Brahmanas, Vaishnavas and Mahants who received the prasad all felt fortunate as a result. After the festival was finished, Virachandra joyfully began making arrangements according to Advaita Prabhu's instructions. Turmeric and yogurt were mixed and kept in new clay pots, which were decorated with fresh mango leaves. New cloth was placed on top of the pots, which were then placed before Advaita Prabhu. Then, on the order of my Prabhu, Sri Achyutananda began leading a huge kirtan. Achyutananda, of course, is the eldest son of Advaita Acharya. Gauranga's followers performed the auspicious Dadi Mangal ceremony by breaking the clay pot with yogurt, and then they danced in the mood of the Gopas in Gokul. There was no limit to the joy that they experienced. I write just a fragment about it for my own purification. After the festival, the devotees returned to their residences, and Advaita Prabhu brought us all back to Shantipur. Advaita Prabhu returned to his room in a morose state of mind, with nothing other than Hare Krishna coming from his mouth. One day, on the order of Advaita Prabhu, I, an insignificant insect, went to bring news from Navadvip. When I returned to Shantipur, I offered obeisances at the feet of Advaita Prabhu, and he asked me, Ishanadas, what's the news? I replied, all the residents of Navadvip are very unhappy after the disappearance of Gauranga. I was fortunate to see Damodar Pandit, and he said to me, where do you come from? After the disappearance of Mother Sachi-Devi, Vishnu Priya, by her desire, locked herself inside the house away from the devotees. Now no one can visit her without her permission, and she has taken up a severe vow. She takes bath in the morning and performs her morning prayers. Then she counts her chanting of the holy names with grains of rice. She puts each grain of rice in the clay pot, and she continues chanting like this until sometime in the afternoon. After finishing her chanting, she takes the rice and cooks it with a cloth covering her mouth. She offers that plain, unsalted rice to Mahaprabhu with a humble prayer. Lamenting in various ways, she purifies her hands and mouth with water and eats just a handful of that prasad. She then offers the remnants of that rice to the devotees. Who else can perform such a severe vow? This information struck me like a thunderbolt, and I thought of how I could see the mother. At that time, Gadadhar Das, Sri Ram Pandit, and other great devotees came there to take prasad with Damodar. They entered the inner apartment with tears in their eyes. Then, with the permission of Vishnupriya, Damodar Pandit took this fallen soul into the inner apartment. Going in, I saw Mother Vishnupriya with her body covered with starched cloth, but by great fortune I was able to see her lotus feet. Then, by the mercy of the devotees, I was given some prasad. As a result, I felt fully satisfied and my mind was relieved of all distress. How can I describe the hardship that Mother Vishnupriya endures? Who can perform such activities without transcendental potency? Hearing this, my Prabhu cried. That means that way to Prabhu. But then he restrained his lamentation by accepting it as Krishna's will. My heart breaks as I try to describe Mother Vishnupriya's condition. A few days later, as Sri Sitanath, by the way to Jaya, sat in his courtyard reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and a pure Vaishnava came and offered obeisances to him. Advaita Prabhu asked him, "Where do you come from?" He replied, "Virabhadra sent me. He is now 20 years old. He has not found a proper guru yet, so he remains uninitiated. He is coming here by boat with a desire to take initiation from you." Advaita Prabhu said, "This idea of his is not pure. It is contrary to the desire of his dear ones. Please convey this message to Virabhadra. Tell him to take mantra from Mother Janava." Hearing this, that Vaishnava went to Kardaha and submitted Advaita's desire to Mother Janava. Mother Janava then sent a devotee to bring Virabhadra, who came and took mantra from Mother Janava. Mother Janava is the wife of Lord Nityananda. Now listen to the account of Advaita's disappearance. My heart breaks while writing this. One day Advaita Prabhu was overwhelmed with Mahabhav and he called out to Gauranga, "Nimai, where are you?" After some time Advaita Prabhu came to his external senses and called for his dear sons. He said to them, "Dear sons, please hear my distress. My wicked relations are blaspheming Gauranga and my heart cannot tolerate it. In order to atone for this, I will certainly leave my body. Therefore inform Gauranga's dear devotees about my desire and bring them here." Saying this, my Prabhu became stunned. Sri Achyuta quickly sent news to everyone. On receiving Advaita Prabhu's message, Virachanda came to Shantipur along with his devotees. Gauridas Pandit came from Ambika, and all the devotees came from Navadvip. Narahari Sarakar Thakur came with his associates, and the great Pandit Kavikandapura came. Shyamadas, Vishnudas, Sri Arunandana, and Advaita's other dear disciples all came to Shantipur and offered prayers and obeisances at his feet. Advaita Prabhu said, "You are all dear to me. Please carry out this one instruction. My desire is that you preach Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's qualities and teachings as far as you are able. The association of uncivilized non-believers who are envious of Gauranga should certainly be given up. Now all of you chant the name of Gauranga and fulfill my long-cherished desire." On hearing his words, all the devotees were overwhelmed with ecstasy and they began chanting the name and qualities of Lord Gauranga. Sri Achyuta, Krishna Mishra, Gopal Thakur, Virachanda Prabhu and Narahari became jubilant. Gauridas Pandit, Damodar Pandit and 5 others danced most charmingly. Advaita Prabhu was overwhelmed with love on hearing the glories of Lord Gauranga. He joined the Sankirtan party and began to dance. Gradually the waves of that ocean of Sankirtan began to expand, and Sri Advaita became immersed in that ocean with great ecstasy. His whole body was decorated with all the jewels of ecstatic symptoms. He shed tears and he called out, "Where is Gauranga, my life and soul?" No living entity can display the wonderful mood that was exhibited by Advaita Prabhu. The devotees surrounded the Lord and cried in ecstasy. Then Advaita Prabhu exclaimed, "I found Gauranga." All his hair stood on end so that his body resembled a kadamba flower. Then all of a sudden he entered the temple of Madan and Gopal and disappeared from the vision of mundane people. The devotees rushed here and there looking for Prabhu, but being unable to see him, they cried and rolled in the dust. Understanding that Advaita had disappeared, Achyuta cried loudly and said to Gaura's devotees, There was one branch of the desire tree of Lord Gauranga's ecstatic love remaining after his disappearance. Therefore Gauranga's pastimes had not ended. Today, however, Gaura's pastimes have come to an end. Hearing this, all the devotees cried incessantly, O Gauranga, O Nityananda, O Bhakta Avatar, and Vaita Chanda. Other than these names, nothing came from the devotees' mouths. In that lamentation, even stone hearts melted. Day and night passed with everyone unaware of the external world. The next day, everyone took bath in the Ganges, and then Achyuta Prabhu held a great festival. Everyone took Mahaprasad and then returned to their residences. Advaita Prabhu displayed unlimited millions of pastimes in the 125 years that he spent in this world. Those pastimes are an incomprehensible and insurmountable ocean of nectar. What to speak of a wretch like me? Even a Nandadev cannot fathom that ocean's limit. I make this most bold endeavor simply for my purification. Still I could not touch even a drop of the ocean of those pastimes. I am not learned or intelligent. How have I written this book? I don't know what I have written. My only help was from Providence. All in you?
It was 125 years?
Yeah. So, quite long. I mean, he was past 50 when Lord Chaitanya was born. And then Lord Chaitanya was here for 48 years. So Advaita Chaitanya must have been around 100 years when Lord Chaitanya disappeared. And then he stayed for another 20, 25 years.
That's also why you see a picture with white. When you see he has a white beard and hair. And later. You see that in my happening also?
Yeah. The beard was for a while a subject of discussion.
Yeah, I saw that. There was a big discussion.
I don't think Srila Prabhupada had any problem with that. It was that picture of this worshipped in his presence.
There was a whole, DBC had a whole committee researching this, and they came out with a paper a couple of months ago about Advaita's beard.
Really?
Yeah. And there were quotes from Prabhupada. He said he should have a beard.
Huh?
And there were quotes from Prabhupada. Prabhupada said he had a beard.
He had a beard, yeah.
It's not.
It was that picture was worshipped.
Yeah.
I'd say actually the original Panchatattva picture came from a Gaudiya Math. I had it in my room still.
Mm-hmm.
I had it for years in the Sankirtan. Prabhupada authorized that picture.
Yeah.
He said that should be in all, especially in the beginning of preaching, people should be encouraged to worship Panchatattva picture and chant the holy name. That's it.
Yeah.
Before they come to some ideas of deity worship or whatever. So that picture was authorized by Prabhupada.
Yeah.
So we can actually see how auspicious it is to have grey hair.
Well, we have to somewhat appease each other with that. That's it? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Krishna Pastaya Vita Pashunati Bhakti Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devam Gurvan Prachar Nirvishesha Shrivari Pushkati Vizatana. So I'm not so detailed as Litanath Prabhu. I am more coming from a background where we were always. And actually, when you studied the lectures of Srila Prabhupada, there's a whole collection, just on appearance and disappearance days of Krishna and his associates. Srila Prabhupada dedicates relatively very, very minor time in these lectures to the Leelas, and to the pastimes. And he's very quickly switching to the meaning, why they actually appeared. Because they all had a mission. Everybody was part of some mission. There was a reason, why they appeared. Even Krishna has a reason. He doesn't appear, first of all, accidentally, is completely scheduled. And another thing is that he always appears for very particular purposes. We know from Bhagavad Gita, to please the devotees, annihilate the demons, and establish the principles of religion. So Advaita Acharya is no exception in this regard. He is one of the weapons of Lord Chaitanya, Astra. He is described that Krishna appeared in various ages with various weapons. His incarnations mostly carry weapons. Only as Krishna, Govinda, he has a flute, but most of the incarnations, they are equipped with weapons to annihilate the demons. So the annihilation of Lord Chaitanya, we know that he's actually in Kali Yuga not appearing with physical weapons, but his weapons are considered his associates. That means Panchatattva. That means each single one is empowered for a particular purpose. As a matter of fact, when you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, all his close associates of Lord Chaitanya they are beyond our imagination. Sometimes people try to be eccentric in a material world, but when you read about these devotees who were just, hitting somebody with a whip and he became a pure devotee. Or another one, he challenged somebody to play chess with him, and he won over him and he became a pure devotee. Just by playing chess or by hitting somebody with a whip. That's like beyond our concepts. We don't preach like that. That would be quite meaningless. But this was highly, highly empowered devotees. So Advaita Acharya always was, I always pictured him as extremely exceptional, even in the pastime exhibited by Panchatattva, because he was actually the first one who introduced Lord Chaitanya. It is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Lord Chaitanya appeared for various reasons, and one of them, a very prominent, was the cries of Advaita Acharya, who actually at that time was sitting on the bank of Ganges worshipping Tulasi, and he was desperate. He was absolutely desperate. Not about that Lord Chaitanya didn't appear yet, but actually about the state of things which he saw around him. And that's in Kali Yuga not difficult to get desperate. When you see not only the level of atheism and demonism, which is the lecture Prabhupada is about it, it's just, there's no communism, there is no socialism, there's demonism. It's only demonism. That's actually what we are fighting, the demonism. So the demonism was everywhere, And even worse as plain demonism is the Sahajaism, which provokes an impression that this could be something spiritual, but actually introduce people to the most grievous level of offenses. An honest demon, he will be extinct, diminished, probably by another demon. That's how law of karma works. But a Sahaja, he will take many with him. And they will all believe that they are on a spiritual path, but they are not. They are actually offenders. Even Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj gave Sahajas one credit. He said, above the Mayavadis, he said, the Mayavadis, they're just horrible. They don't believe in any personal existence. At least Sahajas, they carry some personal concept. Even it's perverted, but it is personal. So Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj gives him a little credit on that point. That actually at least they try to imitate Krishna or imitate devotees. If they don't commit offenses to those who are not Sahajas, if they do it out of being misguided, then they have even a chance to make an advancement. But if they don't, then then they simply deviate others and takes them away from Krishna consciousness. So at the point before